Hey everybody, it's me, Cyborg Puppy, and it's been a little while since I've done one of these kinds of videos, but today I'm going to teach you a few tips and tricks that I use to make my OCs. Now, I've been making OCs for a very long time, ever since I could remember even, but today I'm going to teach you some tips and tricks on how to make your OCs better, or more consistent. But of course, you don't need to take this advice. I just wanted to give out some of my own, and maybe make a part 2 if you guys are interested, because I've seen other people doing it recently. So, before we start, I was gonna say this video is mostly Sonic OC focused, but you can still use the general tips in this video for stuff like original characters or characters from other fandoms, but I'll mostly refer to Sonic terms and Sonic things. But take whatever you want to heart anyways. The most important step, and the first step I'm going to teach you in this video, before you even pick up your pencil or mouse or drawing tablet or your finger, is don't worry what other people think. Now, this might sound crazy because in all the other videos you've probably heard, if you make a so-and-so, people won't like it. Shut up! Character creation is supposed to be for you. You're supposed to have fun with it. That's how I've gotten so many characters over the years, because I genuinely enjoy making designs and personalities and worlds around my characters. So, if someone else tells you, you can't make your character a hybrid princess because that's cringe and people will hate it, then like, bro, who cares? Like, if someone actually gives a damn that much about your character online, then clearly they have a you problem, and they need to go fix that. But if you're writing a story, then you can make your character whatever you want, you just have to make sure your writing's good. But if you're just drawing a character, who gives a fuck if they're over-designed or anything? A character is bursting with your personality, and make them look and feel like a character you'd enjoy. So yeah, that's my most important information. That's basically what I wanted to say for this video, but everything else you could take or leave. The other ones are just tips I wanted to say. This one is life advice, take it to heart, please. My first tip of the day is, think about your character's species. Now, I know a lot of people make hedgehog characters, which isn't a bad thing. Hedgehogs can still look unique and cool, but there's so many wild and wacky animal species out there that I just never see character designs for. For example, Blaine, when I was drawing him, he's one of the only Firefly Sonic characters I can find on the internet, which is crazy to me because fireflies are such cool insects. Go ahead and take a look at different animal types like mammals, fish, and reptiles. That way you can find something cool and interesting for your character to be. Cause like, yeah, hedgehogs are fun and all, but it's even more fun to discover a brand new animal or put knowledge of an animal you love into your character. For example, powers. If you want to give your animal a power, sometimes real-life animals have incredible abilities. For example, stuff like the poison dart frog are actually poisonous, so people will make their frog characters shoot poison darts, for example. You can also just grab from fictional animals as well, like unicorns and griffins are two of my own examples, but stuff like cryptids, spirits, and other types of fictional things are really fun to try and experiment designing as well. Plus, if you know more about their mythology, you can put stuff like that into their backstory as well. Maybe they're being hunted because their tribe was rare or something. But that's just a basic example. There's plenty that you can do on your own. The next thing I want to discuss is outfit design. Now, depending on your character, they could dress completely differently. Whether it be a fashion designer dressing for all different seasons, or just a guy going to work at his burger job. Depending on where your character lives, how their personality is, and what they're into, their design outfit options are literally endless. Or you could just make them naked.
Good grief, he's naked!
That's also an option. But yeah, I personally like to distinguish my designs with all sorts of different outfits. I've been trying to do better with certain outfits, like I've made a lot of my fancy characters just wear suits back in the day, which isn't an issue and all, but giving them more of a flair into their outfit shows a lot about them as a character. For example, someone who has more money might dress in more jewelry compared to someone with less money. Think about where your character is, what kind of job they do, or how they feel about certain outfit types, and dress them accordingly. Also, if they have a certain job, you can give them multiple outfits. Like if they're an explorer, give them an outfit for hot weather or cold weather, or one for in between. Or if they work at a fast food place and they're just normal otherwise, then give them 2 outfits, like I did with Payne. He has an outfit for working at his hot dog job and another for just being off the clock. And it gives them a lot more personality even if you haven't written them yet. So that's fun. You can also give them more cultural outfits, but be careful when researching if you're trying to get designs for those. Be sure to get them from good sources and try not to do cultural appropriation when you're looking for certain outfits. Now the next tip is pretty darn important. If you're drawing your character, colors matter. Colors can tell a lot about a character just by looking at them. And their color scheme can make people want to draw them or want to turn away from them. I've certainly had that happen to me before. So as an artist, let's talk about what you should do with colors. First, you should pick out certain colors that match your character's personality. For example, if you're making a scene character, maybe brighter colors would work. Even though some people are like, never use eye-bleeding highlights. Sometimes it works for certain characters and their style. But it's never like a sin to use eye-bleedingly bright colors. Just try not to use too much of them if you're making a certain type of character, like a goth or something. But, of course, keep your creativity free and use whatever colors you'd like. But my tip is to look for color palettes on Google or on like Pinterest or something. This might seem like boring per se, but it's better than just kind of guessing sometimes. Sometimes you can look at stuff like a color wheel and see what colors contrast and what colors might go together well. For example, I found out that orange and purple go together really well. So that's why Oddball's design looks the way he does, compared to like a red and black one. But sometimes, for characters like Shadow, red and black work, because they're spread out more. And this is where the primary color palette comes in. I've been putting a color palette on all of my character designs for a few months now, and this is for a good reason. We'll start off with the first colors and secondary colors. I'll call them primary for this video. Primary colors are the colors that are most important on your character and show off the most on their design. For example, Sonic's primary color is blue, and then his secondary colors are red and green. And also white, I guess, counts as a color, but I don't really count it for that. They're more like monotone. But he stands out a lot with his blue because that's his primary color. And the green contrasts with the blue in his eyes, so they also stand out on his character design. Pretty smart decision. When making your own character, you don't need to do that, but I've certainly seen it help with some of my characters. For example, Zither's eyes blend into his fur, so if you're looking at him from a distance, you might confuse him for his siblings, which is intentional somewhat, but I feel like if I were to design him now, I'd give him something like brown eyes to make him stand out compared to his siblings. You don't want to have too much of your secondary colors, because then it will become a primary color. For example, Zadie's rainbow hair is her secondary colors, despite them having more colors than her primary blue on her body. And that's what makes her hair stand out compared to her body, because she doesn't have it anywhere else. And it makes her design more memorable. So keep that in mind when you're coloring a character. And of course, if you're grabbing color palettes from Pinterest or Google, then you can look up certain design tropes, like if you're designing a princess or royalty, if you're designing some type of worker, if you're designing based off of a franchise you love, like my Persona character obsession, then you can look up color palettes or mood boards for that, and it can really help with what you're going for. especially mood boards, because then you can also add traits from the mood board onto your character. Another fun thing I like to personally draw is hair. I know a lot of Sonic characters have their different types of hair or quills or whatever they have, and you can tell a lot about their personalities based on the length or how they wear their hair, which is crazy to me, but that's just the beauty of character design. There's also different culture that can go into different types of hair, like certain braid styles or ponytail styles, or like dreadlock styles, stuff like that. You can have a lot of fun experimenting with your character's hair. If one design aspect is really important in this video, other than clothing, it's hair. I usually draw a lot of my characters having long, flowy hair because I personally enjoy drawing that, but experiment with different types of haircuts and hairstyles for your character. Who knows, one might be the correct one that brings the whole design together. That's personally happened to me. Be sure to play around with hair textures as well. Straight, long, wavy, short, pixie cut, fluffy. There's all sorts of different hairstyles out there, and experimenting and playing with different hair can, 1, help you get better at drawing different types of hair, and 2, find a correct hairstyle look for your character. It's really neat. Be sure to play with different body types as well. Making your character chubbier, bulkier, or heck, even skinnier than some of the other cast members can make them look very different and unique compared to either your own characters or other characters you're comparing them to. You can also include stuff like disability representation or birthmarks on them. Disability reps can include wheelchairs, canes, mobility aids, or things for blindness or service animals. If you want to be represented in that way, then go ahead and add them, and add your own story to them. But if you're doing a disability, and you don't have said disability, be sure to look up things about the disability and come from credible sources. That way you can make your character more human. Talk to friends who may know stuff about this, or look for credible sources online. Birthmarks or other birth defects can also work on a character, like missing a limb, or heck, even adding limbs. Don't be afraid to get creative with their body as well. It can tell a lot about a character just by looking at them. The last thing I need to say kind of refers to the first thing I said, and that's to keep your own flair. Now, you don't need to remove objects or items if you have sentimental value to them on your character. Keep them there. Be sure to draw your character however the heck you wish, even if people will judge you for it, because you're making this character for fun and for you. If you have a ugly or not traditional art style, don't be afraid to draw your character that way, and then, after you make them, expand your art style to try other things if you feel like it. But art is supposed to be about fun and fun first, so if you don't feel like changing your art style when you're drawing, that's fine. And if anybody ever tries to tell you to change your art style because they think it's ugly or they think you could improve without you asking for their critique, then ignore them. It's too much of a hectic world out there for you to care about what some person online says about your art. Make it for fun, make it for you. And I believe that's the end of the video. Thank you guys so much for watching this. I'm excited that I finally got to make this video, because all of you seemed excited for it when I put it on a poll a few months ago. I hope you liked the designs I made in this video today. I just kind of made them for fun, and they're here, so tell me who's your favorite, and tell me about your Sonic OC, either that you made after watching this video, or just ones that you have, or just OCs in general. I'd love to hear you guys yap in the comments. Also, if you'd like me to do a writing advice, things to do with your OCs but not draw them, or other kinds of art videos like this, be sure to tell me and I'll keep it in mind. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and I'll see you guys later. New animation should probably be coming out sometime soon. Bye-bye!